You can stay in 130 degrees
all day.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it, man. I need
It's
video proof.
It's the easiest way to lose weight. I can tell you that.
Hey, I'm Armando Leduc, producer, film actor, and owner of Leduc Entertainment. I've chosen a life off the beaten path and wanted to find others that are doing the same. Spaghetti on the Wall is a show based on all of the years that I've thrown spaghetti on the wall and nurtured what's stuck. We will share fun stories, ideas, tips, tricks, and more. Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are consuming this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, back with another one. Josh Palombo. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
The most successful AC guy I know. And I've been around the United States. So nationwide, you're killing it, man.
Yeah.
You're smashing it. So we're gonna get into it. Mm-hmm. How are you killing it so hard?
A lot of time.
A lot of
dedication. A lot of work. You know.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
So what do you mean? So talk to me about some of the things that you're doing, because you've got like billboards all over New Orleans, but are you in other cities too?
I'm going to expand out by me, which I live closer to in Baton Rouge area, but that's probably another 2 years before I take that. Okay. And we do work out by me, but before I start forcing, to make it happen. We'll see.
Right. And so what were the things that sort of catapulted the growth?
I don't know, just built it off of nothing. I mean, from when I had to take over it, and then just try to go from there. It was, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to say.
So you're saying it's not a one thing. It's just
it was a lot of things. Like it took 6 months to kind of get the foundation to kind of get where I needed it to be before I started tackling things, before I even tried to start hiring anybody. Like I had just one person, like from when I took back over the company. And we started from there and then, built to where we needed to be. The main problem with phones, which I feel like any business, people not answering the phones and not returning calls, stuff like that.
So that was the first thing that you worked on?
That was the first thing, because basically, long story short, like worked here for 9 years, left for 5, kind of did things at another company, and then kind of I was going out on my own regardless, and kind of had long, like, family ties, I guess you could say, with here. We've been friends since we were 5, and it was hit a rough spot, and I was like, he's like, I just want to get rid of it. I'm like, no. I was like, we're going to fix it, and, I said, maybe we can fix it, and that's what I did.
He wanted to get rid of the company?
Well, he just did it. He just hit a wall that he didn't know where to go around, didn't know where to go with it. And
what was the revenue like?
What then?
When you first, yeah.
He was doing great, but then poor management brought it down. He was probably at about a little. It ended up being weird doing the math, because the guy that was working for it, like, took half his business and took half his contractors, which he still has, which I'm fine with, because those contractors didn't pay anything, so it doesn't make a difference. I would have dropped them regardless. But I 10x'd it in 2.5 years. So,
yeah, you did.
So it's a big difference, and we can still steady growing. Like, still have the brakes on,
How much? So how much of your revenue are you putting into marketing?
Oh, like 3-4%.
3 or 4%?
It's not that much.
Really?
Yeah, no. And I can do more, but it's trying to be able to not, because right now it's still a freight train. It's still wildly on the tracks, but you got to still stay on track. Like, I can grow it, but if we can't get to them, then it doesn't make a difference. So, I mean, we have, 4 service guys. We have 4 install crews. We have, 3 girls. I'm hiring another one in about 2 hours. That's coming in. But we have warehouse people. We have, multiple salesmen now. So and that just takes a big difference.
An entrepreneur once told me, he said, 36% should be employees, 25% should be marketing, 10% should be operations, and the rest goes into your pocket. Now, this guy makes $60 million a year. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think the marketing is too high.
You think it's too high?
Yeah. I mean, because we have equipment, so I don't know what, it depends on the industry, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
So if I'm doing, X amount of dollars, you're going to have 30% of that is going to be materials, of sorts.
Gotcha.
So you can't put that much into it. I think 5 to 10% is like a good, starting point. But people just don't even make 5% at the end of the year. So that's a big dilemma that they don't see.
Do you think it's because they're spending too much money on things that they shouldn't be spending money on?
I don't think they know what they're making.
Oh, that's true too.
They don't know how much they're making.
So
they think they're
operationally,
making.
there's
So you got people that I've worked for. They're like, oh, I'm gonna make this, and I'm gonna go fishing for the rest of the week, and you're never gonna grow a business.
Right.
You might feel like you're living a good life, but you have nothing to retire on. You have nothing to build on. You will always have to work. You're never gonna just be able to take a break.
Are you self-taught? Did you have a mentor?
I watch a bunch of people, different things, a lot of, books, but a lot of it self-taught, a lot of failures, I guess you could say, learn what you can do and what you can't get away with, but definitely watch other people to kind of push you,
Like who?
Ken Goodrich, they got a guy named Ishmael in California.
Are these AC guys?
Yeah. They took it from nothing, and took a company that was losing money and did whatever. Like Ishmael, he grew a company in 6-7 years. He does $130 million a year now in 6 years. So it can be done. Now he's in California; it's a different money and it's a different market. I feel like we're stuck in New Orleans. Like if we didn't have the lake, it'd be so much easier. If you had houses there, But our market's a little bit smaller, but and there's no place to grow. So that's why I like to grow out by me, because it is forever growing.
Getting hotter and hotter. So
yeah,
AC's not going anywhere.
No, without a doubt.
Maybe that's the business to invest in.
That's becoming a bigger thing. So a lot of the companies here that are big companies, all the big companies that were in New Orleans are all bought. They are no longer themselves. They have been bought by people, private investors. Like the biggest companies here are no longer owned by them.
Really?
None of them. And I'm not going to sell. Like I'm not. That's a very long way away. If it even gets to that point. But I have, with 3 kids and, business partner, I have 2 kids, and one of the kids work there. I want to, to stay a family and continue growing like that.
Are you looking for exit strategies?
To what, eventually get out one day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I think I'll build it to be able to sell, but never sell. Because some people just build it and then can't really sell it. They can't really do this. Don't have maintenance members. Don't have the pricing that you need to have in there to stay smooth. So like we're fully stocked with everything, like condensers, coils, furnaces. There's nothing that we don't have. Like I don't go to the supply house. The supply house goes to me. So that took a lot, and that was the biggest. That was probably the first change I made. Was okay, we need a bigger building because we were working out a little small garage, and
you're bringing all of that stuff in.
Yeah, everything's there. Yeah.
Why? What's the benefit?
Because the wasted time at supply house. So if my guys got to go there, and then there's other people in line, and this, that, and the other. Now it's wasting an hour and a half, 2 hours a day per truck, easily. And so if they're doing that, they can roll out the door at 7:30 and be at the people's house for 8. I go to supply house, pick it up, do whatever, or you think that supply house has something, you go there, they don't have it, so now you got to go to another supply house,
Wow.
And then it just turns into a big wasted day. So now, we pull it, it's there, you load it up in the afternoon, and you just shoot out the door in the morning. So it's more efficiency, basically.
So you're buying that stuff, what, a week, 2 weeks, a month ahead of time?
I tried to stay. In the beginning, it was like, all right, we want to be able to last a week, because last year it was a problem finding materials. You couldn't find anything. You couldn't find, ductwork. You couldn't find nothing. So now it's trying to build up to where we have at least a minimum of a month. So if we get hit by a storm, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna survive for at least a month until the supply houses open back up or something like that. Because sometimes those take a minute. But so I will never drag down. So if it's after hours, I ain't gonna try to find nothing. I have everything.
So you think that was one of the game changers for you?
I think it made a difference. I think any company should have that, but they just don't know how to build it. So any money we made, I just put back into the business no matter what. It wasn't going to me. I wasn't trying to do anything with it and be like, oh, like I'm making extra money, I'm gonna go do this or take vacations or something like that. Like I'm not. So with that, it was just put it all back into it to make a difference, So now going buy another truck today, which would be number 12 in 2 years. So that's a huge difference,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
stressful,
dude,
stressful too, but
You killing it, man. A lot of people don't know. Me and you used to work on Bourbon Street
yeah.
long time ago.
And I did this during the day. So when we originally started this, it was not enough to pay the bills. So I had a DJ at night, get off at 4 in the morning and come doing this and climbing attics at 7. So,
What is the
thank God they invented the 5-hour energy shot by then. I think I lived on those for sure.
I know it. I remember I would leave work at 5 o'clock in the morning. And
Especially if
have
you're
to be
good, you were the last one to leave.
Right. Yeah, we were always the last one. We were always
Yeah.
closing down Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And then
which is like a good bad thing.
Yeah, it was a good bad thing. Yeah, we didn't get paid enough
Yeah.
for our work. So was this the vision? Did you always at what point did you realize, all right, I want to scale this business. I want to grow it,
Well, from day one. I mean, I knew which direction I was going to go. The other company I worked at for 5 years, they didn't want to grow no more. In the beginning, they did. So it was like, okay, we did this, and I fixed this, and it was like, oh man, we're doing this growth. And then it was like, okay, we he didn't want to. He couldn't find guys that he wanted to work there, and got to a point where he just felt like they were going to be overworked or this, that, and the other. So then he was like telling me to stop selling, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. But and then eventually he just didn't want to grow no more. And he's like, he had his house, he had his $1 million house, and uptown, and it's why everybody else you're going to tell him to stop working, and you're working commission, and it's like, nah, it wasn't worth it. So I was like, maybe it's time. And I actually waited a whole entire year before I decided to jump ship. So I was like, hey, look, we need to talk, da da da. Oh, and he just kept blowing it off. But I already had my website, I already had my phone number, I had everything, like every single solitary thing made on the direction where we're going to go, or I was going to go because I was going out 100% on my own. And I waited a year to the day, so it was like kind of like that Facebook reminder thing, or like the little paying for the website again for the year, And I was like, we need to talk, and he's like, I was like, look, I gotta go. We gotta go separate ways. And I was making good money, It wasn't necessarily bad, but it's just, I still have enough fight, you know what I mean? Like I have another 10 years of constant hustle. And he thought he was going to, overwork me. And I'm like, you're not going to overwork me. It's not, you don't know how I'm built. Like, it's not going to slow me down, or whatever. He wanted to be off at 4. And I was very efficient with what I did and how I sold things and stuff like that. And so I was like, I'm just going on my own. And then.
Do you think that you could teach somebody how to run an AC business?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I did here. I mean, that's what it is basically what, my business partner had to deal with. Like, he had to be open-minded and understand. And I think he understands it to a degree, but not as much as I do. And I think this is some of it he just can't absorb. He's not computer, guy, this, that, and he's still one-finger typer type person, So it's a little bit different, especially how fast we're growing. And
I mean, you 10x this business in
Yeah, not even 3 years yet. Yeah, so yeah, it's a big difference.
Is it? I gotta I'm trying to pinpoint. Obviously you can't pinpoint what it was. Obviously, it's knowing how to sell. It's putting the operations.
But it's knowing that somebody's going to answer the phone. Like, that was the biggest thing. Is like when I called them, I was like, I started looking at past customers. Like when I left. It was like the company was already growing, and then it started just going down, and then it just started falling. And it was like, called every customer back, like, what happened? They're like, it just wasn't the same when you left. Like, because it's didn't treat people like a number, just kept pushing forward, like whatever. If they called, they knew I would answer the phone and stuff like that. So when I called, I was like, the problem was the phones. Nobody would answer the phone. Or if they did call, they're like, oh, we'll have a tech call you, and he'll let you know what time he's coming. And nobody would call back, and it just wasn't as personable. They'll come there and try to make $1 and then roll out and then never hear from them again. Versus you can call, anytime, and I actually answer the phone no matter what, if it's after hours or before hours, which is, I think it made the biggest difference is that, there's somebody always there, so it was definitely the phones. So got a lot of those customers back, even though they, went somewhere else. And I've had a few that was like, well, we're happy where we're at now, but if something changes, I'm glad you're back. We'll keep that in mind and we'll come back.
Do you think that it's because a lot of these people that start these businesses are really good AC techs?
I think they're good. A lot of them, they think they're good AC techs, but they're good business owners, and it's a two totally different fields.
Right. They're they're good AC techs, but they're not good business owners. And they can do the job, but they can't run the business.
Correct. Yeah. And I need help with management because I'm wearing too many hats. I got a big goofy head, so that doesn't help because none of the hats fit me. But it's that's the part where I'm at now is more management because I am still doing every single thing as far as managing each guy in each department and stuff like that. I have no extra help.
You don't have a COO? Who's your second in command?
Nobody, just me. Yeah,
that's hardcore, man.
No,
I'll tell you one of the biggest money moves I ever made was hiring a second in command.
Oh no, I need it.
Yeah,
I'm not this. I mean, I got 10 positions to fill easily all day, but it's and that's not even in the field. But it's.
How are you recruiting?
A lot of it is mostly people. I mean, we've put like, hey, we're hiring stuff like that. But a lot of it is just people I know, people that have never been in the industry, and just teach them. So like right now, our upstairs on the mezzanine, like it's another like 600-700 square feet that we're closing in to have a big training room. We have a training room about this size downstairs, but I want a bigger one upstairs to where we can just teach them, grow them, show them exactly how I want things done, and then go from there. So it will be. Which will help like when winter comes, like if you do slow down, but the last 2 years, our winters have been stronger than our summers because we're constantly on the growth. So yeah,
that's crazy.
We will peak out like our highest month this year was like March, last year was November.
Dude, it was crazy. Like this summer, we're always like down during the summer. But this summer we grew 177% in like a month.
Yeah.
Over like it was just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So.
Well, once it starts, and that's the whole thing is hold on and keep going.
Right.
Because the more you keep going, the more the word of mouth spreads, and the more.
I agree. I think people forget. If you're not growing your business is dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like you always have to be thinking in growth mode. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be thinking scaling 10x or whatever. But
yeah, I'd like to. I mean, the first year was 3 times. The second year was 3 times, and this year we're up like 60%, which is still a good growth, and that's literally putting the brakes on because I can't be everywhere. I've tried to get people to come be the second in command and stuff like that, and then they ran another AC company, but my guys ate them up because it's like, oh, well, you need to do it like this, and it's like, no, we don't do it like that. And he's like, well, this is easier. It's like, I don't care. Like the guy wanted to cut corners, and it's like, I don't want to cut corners, and that's like actually our slogan is like we do things the right way, not the easy way, and so with that, he couldn't handle the guys, but the guys, we're doing the right thing, and in some ways it's like, hey, like if there's an issue, call me, and I think it could have went somewhere, but he was trying to cut corners and things. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. Like that's just silly. Well, that's how we did it here, which is another big company here. I'm like, I don't care if that's how they do it, but that's why they're not growing anymore. They're stuck. Like I'm growing because the things we're doing right, and making that difference, So
do you think that your personality type was learned, or it was just innate? It was just in you at all times.
The personality type. How?
In terms of like being driven, in terms of like
Oh, my whole family's like that.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like anything we did was just to try to grow. Like whether it's years ago with running a bowling alley, like
Y'all ran a bowling alley?
Yeah, my dad did, and paired up, with me and him, and it's like they were doing like $800,000 a year, and then within a year and a half they were doing $2.4 million. So like that, I like the growth. That feeds me.
So you were always around it then?
Yeah.
Okay. So your dad was a mentor to you?
Yeah. I guess always try to make things in a numbers person, and that's the whole thing too. Is like understand the numbers, and I think that's the biggest downfall. Like I said, with any business, it's not really understanding your numbers, and that's where I need more management to kind of even see anything even more. Like a fine comb to kind of see things, where it's going, where it's this.
Yeah, where are you spending money?
What guys are the better ones in this? So which but I want it in black and white as a teaching tool, not as a you're doing this, but it's but that part is where we're at right now, growing, which we're having that. So we're going to have, which we just ordered, was like 14 TVs throughout the whole entire building. So that way everybody can see their stats, what they're doing, what's their growth. They get spits for getting good reviews and stuff like that to kind of, the data boy.
So you're going to put the scorecards on display. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's that way. I don't think it's gonna be a bad thing. I think it kind of builds up because everybody here is very, very, very close knit. Like we're all like family. There's not we don't talk to that guy. Like there's none of that. If it ever gets like that, then whoever's starting it, they'll get terminated. Like,
right.
I don't
it's not a good,
that.
not a good fit.
No, we're all hot. It's attic we were in yesterday was 156 degrees. Like nobody's in a good.
How long are y'all in there?
I can sit there longer, but I think that's my. And just tolerable. But I mean, I've gone home, taken a shower, and still be just sweating because of overheating. Like it's not right. But I've had people like try to start and like, oh, I can handle it. I worked in the engine room, and they'll pass out like in 15 minutes. It's hot. It gets,
it's
so
like
you got to pace
sauna.
yourself. You got to blowers don't really help. Especially how it is right now with the heat index of 115 degrees every day for the past 3 weeks. It's not cool. So the jobs are taking longer, but.
Because you got to balance.
Yeah. Well, that and you got to try to go in and out, and it only gets worse and worse because the longer you go in and out, the hotter it's going to get. So it's a pain. I've heard other companies say just like refusing to do ductwork right now because it takes too long. So they're just saying like, no, we're not doing it.
But y'all are going to do it.
We still do it, yeah. So we'll have to pace the job out to 2 days, but usually we can do it all in one day because we'll go there with a bunch of people, like so it makes a big difference. Go in there and try to knock them out so that way.
Do y'all have those like portable AC units?
Well, for the customer, yeah. I mean, if we couldn't get to them, but being that we have everything at the shop, I don't have to use the excuse of we'll schedule it next Thursday because they got to try to gather up all the materials. Like I have everything. We sell it at 3, and we'll be there in the morning.
That's brutal,
no problem.
Man.
Yeah, so that's hard to control too. So
do 150 degrees.
Yeah. You get used to it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, I've been doing it my whole life, so I mean, it's not. You get used to it. I guess it's a certain. It's kind of like the dirty jobs.
How do you train somebody to do that?
They got to see if they can deal with heat. If they can't deal with heat, they ain't gonna be able.
Gotta get out of the kitchen.
No, yeah. And you might pace yourself and then go work on the outside and do whatever, but it's different. Not all attics are that hot, but typically it's always 130. At least. But 150s is where it peaks out. I haven't been in hotter. 3 times is like 158 degrees. That's why I can't wear chains. I can't do nothing because they'll burn you. You can't grab your hand tools once it passes 140. Like
really?
It'll still burn your hands. Yeah, it's like putting it in an oven. You put it on warm in the oven and you grab that pan, you're going to burn yourself.
So you said, how long can you stay in there? 15 minutes?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can stay in there probably about 3 hours.
No, you can't.
All day.
No, you cannot.
All day. Because I'm not going to stop until I'm finished. And that's my problem.
You can stay in 130 degrees.
All day.
All day.
All day.
No, fuck it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, man. I want
It's
I need video proof.
It's the easiest way to lose weight. I can tell you that.
Dude. And
then when I was like full-time installer, like I've gained 60 pounds since I stopped being an installer. But I mean, I was skinny, but it wasn't because of whatever. But it was just you sweat it out.
3 hours.
Yeah, all day. Yeah,
just pounding water.
Not even that. Sometimes I have my Coca-Cola. That's about it. I don't even drink the water. Water kill you.
Dude, that's crazy, man. I can't even. Nah. I mean,
it's a dry heat. It's different when it's humid, like how it is now, and being hot. It makes it a little bit more miserable because right now it's not just hot. It's extremely humid, so that's making it a little bit worse. But I find the in and out, that's going to bother me more than just staying in there.
And you have a blower, but that doesn't do anything, you said.
Yeah, no. All you do is blowing around hot air. I mean, it's not making that much of a difference, not to me. But
how else do you stay cool?
Wet rag. So I will do that. I'll occasionally have a big blue rag, and I'll go dip in the water, run the water on it, and then kind of put it around me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So long as you keep the back of your neck cool, you can kind of tolerate it, but it doesn't last long.
I can't do it, man. Yeah. That's good. Good on you, man.
Yeah.
Good on you, dude.
Not for everybody.
No, definitely
But
not.
it's not all bad days.
But I'll tell you what, man, I feel like because you are in it, you get the respect from your employees.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm the first one there. I'm the last one home. So no matter what. So if they're running late on the call and, they should have been done at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they're still there, then I'm going there and help them finish it. I don't just be like, well, y'all have fun. I'm going home. No, I'm going to stay there till it's over with, so.
That's great, man. But here's the deal. So at what point are you going to start saying, hey, I can't do it?
When I have enough people, but I don't think we're never going to have enough people, no matter what. That's it. It's the industry.
But you love it though, so you got to love that though.
I enjoy the process. I enjoy what I do. I don't look at it as a job. When you look at it as a job, you're not going to like it. You're going to want to go home early. You want to go do this. But
right.
I like finishing. I like the customer being happy. That's what makes a difference to me. The customer's first.
Yeah.
It's reviews
100%.
over revenue. I don't care about the money. The money doesn't make difference. That's just a perk. Whenever that time comes, because right now it's just all being reinvested back into it. But
I love that. Reviews over revenue.
Reviews over.
Where'd you hear that?
Ishmael. He says it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reviews over revenue.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It makes, because you got to keep them happy. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end, you can't make everybody happy, but at some point, that's what you got to look at it as.
Yeah.
Get them happy, walk away.
So let me ask you this. So because I know, or maybe this isn't privy to everybody, but you said you're going to start expanding into not just AC, but
Looking into the field, that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's growing into bigger places, to cover in all the market, to like a one-stop shop type thing. And it goes hand in hand with what we do anyway, because if we got to move a unit, we need to get an electrician. If we need if you're doing generators and you need to run this, you need a plumber. You're doing something else, like relocating, you need a plumber. And so it's like, rather than just have it under one umbrella, legally, because otherwise, yes, you can go do stuff, but, it's better to have it all. And I think it will help, where you controlling the whole entire year instead of just seasonal. But, because eventually you're going to plateau where your winters aren't as strong, but it's, but we do a lot of, we still do some new construction. Now it's all very, very big houses. It's not, little small houses, but, so that keeps you busy, and, some light commercial. But eventually I would like to drift away from that, especially the commercial work.
yeah.
It
So
just takes too long.
So when you guys are sort of getting into all of that stuff, does it feel like you're going to water down the brand at all?
No, I think if you attack it in different ways. I mean, anybody that I've watched and learned and respect, they've grown from it. I think some, like I say, you don't know if they're a big AC company or a big electrical company. Then you start drifting away from that. But I feel like no matter what, I'm always gonna be a big AC company. But it's just looking at other avenues to kind of not necessarily grow, but just to kind of do it all, because that's what we get. We're like, hey, I need this. Well, any electricians? No. And and I'll give out numbers or whatever, but or do y'all do it? And it's like, we can do it, but I'm not. I shouldn't do it. So a lot of times I'll just like, you just need to get an electrician. It's just better.
Right.
They have their things, and so eventually just kind of maybe combine together. With people I know, not a random company. So it'll be like, they can't scale, but I can scale something. So it's like, okay, well, let's partner up. And that's kind of like talks right now. So we'll see.
That's cool. What marketing channels are you guys operating on right now?
Meaning?
So I know you have billboards.
What else? Billboards. We just, the website should launch today, the new one. That's a big thing that I've been working on for like the last 3-4 months. Because the other one, I kind of designed myself something quick. Like I literally probably spent a half a day on, and to keep it up and keep going, I would have to focus on that. Then I got to focus on this. And then all the other advertising, whether it's on Facebook or this or the billboard designs, I designed everything. So it's like I'm drawing on that, making that. So it's just too much, And then, but you need like how you do. You need constant content.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it for a minute and then drift off, you'll notice the difference. And if you do it, you got to keep doing it. So the billboards didn't really take effect till this year, even though I had them last year, because it's just brand awareness. And then, especially with AC, your AC is not going to break every year. You might go 8 years and not have an issue. So it's just, you got to keep just staying in their face, more or less. And the billboards do okay. I don't feel like it's, it's what we do once you get the call is what makes the difference, and you can see that with, our reviews and stuff like that.
How many calls do you guys get a month, you think?
It varies. Typically, it gets up to about 300-400 a week.
Y'all get 300, 400 calls a week?
Yeah. So
that's nice.
It's sometimes it turns into calls. Sometimes it's just customers calling and stuff like that. But I get my little thing every Sunday. Analytics on what the girls are doing, their average talk time, questions, this, that, and the other. So it's all something that pops up. Like if they ask questions, it automatically kind of alerts me. Like it will pop up like bubble, like with AI stuff now. I can watch. That's why I can do so much stuff, I guess you could say, because I can babysit everything. Now I might not catch it till in the evening or something like that, but like if you curse, it automatically texts me. Like so, if I have a customer that's irate or something like that, it will automatically alert me and say like we need to call this person
because they said fuck it.
Yeah. So, but which is good. Yeah, which is good. But it's but if they have like certain questions and basically see how the girls or guys handle it, and and use it as a teaching tool. That was originally why we did it. Was basically like, look, you said this, we should have said this, or hey, they said this, we should have approached it like this way.
Right.
Or if there's a certain thing that we can't do, or just certain questions that they're getting asked too much and they don't know the answers to, well then as I started adding it in this little bubble on the side to where they have those questions, they have those answers.
That's dope.
So I have it where you ask the question, it pops up a bubble. And then they ask this, and it pops up a bubble. If they do this, it's a pop-up bubble. And they explain about maintenance. It's a quick elevator pitch that something I would say to kind of explain to a customer rather than them trying to think of words off the top of their head. So it's not just a script, but it's kind of like they say this, it'll you can answer like this, but not sound robotic.
I love it.
So which all takes time. I had to make it all myself, so
that's great. You know where I think there's going to be an explosion of AC work is going to be Europe. Because there's a lot of companies out, like in Germany, there's no AC.
Yeah.
There's no AC.
That's how it was in Hawaii.
And it's now starting, it's getting hotter and hotter. So I think there's going to be, like AC work in Europe.
Yeah, I've had customers that have a house in Paris and then they have a house here, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't have to do that for my house there." I'm like, "What is the average temperature there?" And I'm like, "That's nothing like here. Like you can't compare that,
Right?
Like what you live over there compared to over here. Like you live in a swamp. It's not the same."
Yeah, but it's starting to. But what I'm saying is, it's starting to get hotter. So there might be opportunity.
Don't make that money yet to go travel.
In global, yeah. I'm always thinking, man, globally, man. How can I take this global?
Well, I'm looking at it internationally, but I mean, because that's we switched to 800 number and switched, different things like that recently, like within the last week.
Yeah, I got an 800 number too, man.
Yeah,
I got
so
a vanity. 855 be social. Yeah. That's my vanity number. What's your vanity number?
It's 833. It's my AC.
Nice.
So, which we got these little characters, that we're gonna start utilizing throughout it, like almost like little miniature.
Very cool. Mascots. Do some voiceover work and stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
It'll be fun. It's just saying, it's planning for the future. Everything I'm doing this year is for next year, basically. So
that's what's up.
They don't know what hit them until spring, usually.
Dude, Josh Palombo, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
Website is at ComfortTech AC.com. We're going to end up having it's myac.com, which I own now. Phone number is 504-867-2800 or 833. It's myac.
Fantastic. Josh, thanks so much for being on the show, man. Fantastic. I'm blown away by how quickly you've been able to grow your business. And look, if you guys are looking at, opening up your own AC business, not in New Orleans, hit him up. Might be able to help you out. And if you're looking for work, he's looking for a second in command. So reach out.
That's it.
Might have some work for you. So appreciate you being here, man.
All right, bud.
And that was Spaghetti on the Wall, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Leduc Entertainment. For all of your digital marketing needs, social media, podcasting, we got you. And you can watch Spaghetti on the Wall anywhere. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Just look it up. We're easy to find. And we'll see y'all next week.